Welcome.
To the joy of coding.
Hello, and welcome to episode 417 of The Joy of Coding. My name is Mike Conley. It's so good to have you here. Going to be live hacking on some Firefox adjacent things today. Let's get right into it. Let's get started. It's the 1st of October. Isn't that exciting? It's the 1st of October, 2025. Episode 417. A reminder, no plan survives breakfast. I think I know what I want to do today. I have some vague notions of what I want to do today, and we'll probably develop it more as we go on. And things might go wrong. I might get stuck, sidelined, sidetracked, distracted. We'll just deal with it as it comes. You're watching me do software development in the raw, so to speak, so nothing's really been pre-prepared. And we're going to continue on with something we were working on last week, which is that train hop extension. And fun fact, I'm just gonna let me talk about the agenda real quick, and then I'll get into the other piece of news I want to mention. The agenda that we're looking at, which has all these handy dandy links, is something that you have access to. If you're watching this on Air Mozilla, check out the details section over there. If you're watching this on YouTube, check out the video description. If you're watching this on Twitch, check out the channel details. The link to the agenda should be in all of those places. Also, if you are in the chat, I'm watching the chat. If you're watching on Twitch, the Twitch chat is bridged to Matrix, and I'm able to see all the chat messages coming in. So if you're in the chat, I can see you. Hopefully, I did a bridge test earlier today, so it should be working. And if you're in Matrix, obviously, I can see you. All right, let's get right into it. This episode is brought to you by HTTP error code 417, which it maps to the current episode number. As per our current tradition, is we are looking up the Keanu code, the Keanu Reeves related image that maps to this error code. That's brought to you by Keanu.codes. I didn't come up with all these mappings. So let me put a link to that there. Keanu codes. And I don't know what this is from. This might even be a Coca-Cola commercial, considering how prominent that logo is. This might be from a TV commercial that Keanu Reeves is in, playing a hockey player, I'm guessing. Expectation failed. So this might be some kind of scene where it's things aren't going well on the ice. And then the coach is like, maybe try a Coca-Cola. Maybe that'll fix everything. And then probably if the commercial is for Coca-Cola, then chances are it does. If it's a Pepsi commercial, this may make him worse. But let's take a quick peek at what actually it means expectation failed. In HTTP 417, expectation failed is a client error response status code indicates that the expectation given in the request's expect header could not be met. So I guess the client can expect a certain kind of response, a certain payload in the response. And after receiving a 417, a client should repeat the request without an expect request header, including the file in the request body, without waiting for a 100 response. See the expect header documentation for more details. I'm actually not familiar with expect. That's kind of interesting. Expect indicates there are expectations that need to be met by the server in order to handle the complete request successfully. When a request has a expect 100 continue header, a server sends a 100 continue response to indicate that the server is ready or capable of receiving the rest of the request content. Waiting for a 100 response can be helpful if a client anticipates that an error is likely. For example, when sending state-changing operations without previously verified authentication credentials. That's so interesting. I have never heard of that before. So a client sends a request with expect and waits for the server to respond before sending the message body. The server checks the headers and generates the response where a 100 continue instructs the client to send the body, and then the client completes the request by sending the actual data. Oh, that's so interesting, where it can ask for permission on whether or not it can put something there, and then the server's like, yes, please, can proceed. That's so interesting. I've never heard of that sort of thing before. HTTP, a very interesting protocol. Lots hidden in there. Anyway, 417 is expectation failed. It couldn't supply the expected response. In this case, 100 continue. I don't know if that's like the only response that can be expected, but it's a very Canadian HTTP code. Yeah, I guess there's something kind of polite here, like, please, can you let me know when you're ready? And then the server's like, yes, please proceed. It is very Canadian. Although I cannot verify whether or not a Canadian added this to the specification. So in this example server implementation, expectations are not supported, and the presence of an expect header results in 417 responses. Expectation failed. The client responds by making a request without expectations and with the content of the request body. So it's just like, hey, I don't support this expect thing. The server will say, just send it and I'll let you know if it fails. I'm actually curious, like if we let h equal new headers expect 100 continue. Oh wait, so hold on a second. H equals new headers h dot set expect to 100 continue. If I do a request to, how do I use headers? Ambient headers. I want to send a fetch request or something using that. Headers. Can I like send it fetch with headers? Fetch API headers. Setting headers. Can I supply a headers object? Alternatively, you can start a headers object and add headers to the object using headers append, then assign the headers object to the headers option. Okay, cool. So if I send a get request fetch to / in this case it'll just be developer.mozilla.org, and in the object here I'm going to say this is a get request, method get, and then headers. What happens? Let's take a look at the network traffic. Whoopsie daisy. Let's take a look at the network traffic. Nothing, and that's because headers is not defined. Oh, it was headers H. Response. So network. Oh, all network. I sent a fetch with, where are my request headers? Did I send expect? Expect? Where's expect? Am I logged in? I realize I'm logged in and you just saw my cookie, so I'm gonna log out. Oh, I'm not logged in. Well, that's good. I should clear the cookies now. That's fine. Yes, clear. Well, that's interesting. I'm not familiar with expect or expectation failed, so we learned something new today. All right. Let us now talk a little bit about what we're doing today. Today, we're continuing our journey working on the extension that we were working on last week, which allows us to sort of make inferences or make decisions about whether or not we should train hop. And I talked a little bit about train hopping, I think either last time or the time before. So our extension is here, and currently, if we pull it in, it'll say that, okay, well, we have passing jobs for Linux. It doesn't look like there are any jobs for Windows or Mac OS. That's possibly because there was a recent merge and those jobs haven't completed yet. Let's see here. Train hop. Yeah, those jobs are still forthcoming. So we might have to wait a little while. But if they're passing on Linux, that's a pretty good sign. So let me see here. We have to-dos from last time that I should copy over. I want this one. What? This one? To-dos. Turn that into a to-do. And then I wanted this one, the JQ library. And then what else? If no jobs detected for any platform, have them be gray for pending. So we'll need to like, I'll want entries, even if we don't have any entries yet. I'll be like, okay, well, these are missing. Before I continue, I want to give some news about train hopping. We're in the process of doing our first production train hop. The build that I'm on actually got the train hop. If I go to about support, I can see it here. New tab version 145.0.big string of numbers is in this build. If you have a version of release, chances are you also got the train hop. We're at 50%. We'll probably go to 100% later this week. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased how smoothly that's been going. We did identify one small thing where there's this like tiny little spike in shutdown hangs for people who shut down just as they start to download the XPI, but we think we have a workaround for that, or a patch for that will attempt to uplift to 144. That went up for review today. But other than that, it's been pretty smooth sailing, which I'm very happy about. Right. So that's the news there. So here are my to-dos. If the new tab in Nightly is newer, I want to link to its revision log. Yeah. I want to attempt to... Oh, this is actually very interesting because maybe this is where we'll spend most of our day. Because we actually have an active deployment, and so we can maybe start querying that and using the JQ web library. And that's a cheap one. Let's save this one to the end because this is less interesting. I'm really interested in this one, so we can try and supply that. Or investigate this, because I don't know how I want it to look yet. But let's do this one just to warm ourselves up. So in the event, and if you look, it actually is the case that the new tab FTL in Nightly is 14 days newer than the one that's in the web extension glue version. Then I just want to link to the revision log for that file. So that's pretty straightforward, I think. Is newer. Main newer. Engineer must run. Comparison message. I'm going to put this in an anchor tag, and then I'll link to the revision log. Now it's not Nightly. It's the it's whatever is in the revision that we supplied in the oh, here come the builds for Windows. Here, so I actually want to get the revision log of this revision on GitHub. So that's what I want, and I'm pretty sure I can do that with github.com/mozilla-firefox/firefox. If I get that file, which is browser locales enus new browser new tab. This is the file. I want its history. Can I get its history for a particular revision? Can I do that? starting at a particular revision, or like from there and then back. Because I think I can do that with Mercurial. Today. This is just by dates. I want a particular revision. Show me the history for a file for a particular revision. Maybe if I choose a particular revision, like this one, and then view file, history, aha, commits, and then you supply a migrate string for dropdown. I think that's the one. Migrate string for dropdown versus, yeah, this is what's on main. Yeah, okay, that's what I want. I want this URL. So I am going to, and I'm pretty sure I'm just going to hard code this in. Const new tab ftl history equals, and I'm going to do a template string, and then I will supply this template string, but then I'm going to put in the SHA right here. SHA. But I'll need the SHA in one of my properties. This dot get SHA. And then I will have this be that target equals blank. Okay. So the get SHA was never passed to the locales report, but I'm pretty sure we can supply it. Yeah, here, Mercurial SHA, get SHA is this dot results dot SHA. Okay. Maybe I'll just call it SHA equals this dot results dot SHA, and then locales results SHA type string, and then SHA. All right, let's try that. Excellent. Excellent. I feel pretty good about that. So what was added in the past 14 days since then? Since 14 days newer than the WebEx Glue version. 14 days between here and here. It's probably here. Yeah, so these things are new. But they remove their removals, so it's probably fine. So that's the sort of thing that can be sort of analyzed by an engineer to sort of determine, like, oh, okay, we're fine. Okay, so that's done. Using the JQ Web library. So what's interesting is, I believe, if I've got this right, we have the ability, I don't think this requires any kind of special account. I think I can just hit this endpoint here, and I think this is public. And it'll supply this big old blob of all the ongoing experiments. Great. And so what I want to do is parse out any of them that use new tab train hop add-on. Select the type equals type. I don't know what that means. Features type. Features value dot type equals type. All right, well, let's see what that does. Nothing. I'm not entirely certain what this does. I'm gonna get rid of that term. I got that from someone else. Here we go. And these are, that's exactly what I want. Excuse me. So that's giving me the slugs. Now these are done. I want the ones that are actually still running. So how do I figure out if it's running or not? Is start date here. Let's look at this one because it's done. Oh, it's not in there. It's probably got cropped out. Is there some kind of like active state? I mean, there's the end date, but branches start date, publish date, outcomes, channel, end date, locales, outcomes, targeting, branches, app ID, bucket config, locales, outcomes, published, start date. How do I know? I need to look at the experimenter API. Whoop. Get out of my way. The experimenter API. Response. So like if I supply, let's supply one that's ended. Wait for escape hatch. Fail. It's public. Maybe this is the one I want. Try it out. Yeah, this, I don't know why it's attempting to hit the, I don't think people have tested this endpoint. But let's see what happens if we supply the experimenter API. Cannot resolve host. Oh, whoops. Okay. Now pretty print that. Python what's a Python pretty print JSON pipe? Python -m JSON .tool. There we go. So ended on September 2nd. Is there anything else that could indicate that it's over? Because if not, then let's supply this one, which is active, and let's compare and contrast. Start date, the end date is null. I think that's how we know that the end date is null. Now, that's how we get, it feels pretty crazy to get all of the experiments all at once. Maybe we should feature config. Feature config. As an example. Can I get just the ones API v8 experiments can I say, and then the query will say application equals Firefox desktop and feature config equals new tab train hop add-on. Is that, I might have to put that in quotes. So that's much faster, but it's possible that's because it's cached. What happens if I get rid of those? Okay, it is slower. That one is faster. And then I do want the ones that have null for their end date. So that, I'm not super familiar with JQ, but I think I can go select dot end date equals null. Can I do that? Yeah, there we go. So we've just got the one active one. And then instead of just getting the slug, can I get everything? Yeah. There we go. I'll get the slug, the user-facing name. Let's get the slug, JQ, select fields to return, comma, okay. Dot, user-facing name, and I think I want the current population size, because I think we're at 50% right now. And how, does it say what percentage we're at? bucket config. Start. Randomization unit, bucket config. It doesn't say branches. Where does it say 50? How do I know that that's at 50%? You'd think it'd be in the bucket config. Start count total. Because like when you can put get Nimbus public API put how do we get so the bucket config randomization unit is the group ID, the namespace, start count total. Is that might be how we determine that we're at 50%. It's because 5,000 is half of 10,000. That seems fairly odd, but I think what's happening here is we are seeing really under the hood in this API on how bucketing works. Let's look for an experiment that's at 100%. Let's see. Let me pull in the full list of experiments. What's at 100%? Global rollout of and one that's still active. Yeah, 100%. Context ID rotation. Let's look at that one. So that one has a different slug. So let's every 7 days, we're going to use V8. And that one's at 100. So yeah, count and total. Okay. All right, so I think we have enough. So what we want is the bucket config. We want the slug, the user-facing name, and the bucket config. Can I... Oh, that's interesting. Slug. It's like merged them. If I supply that, it takes the names away. That's so interesting. How do I get JQ to combine that into a single object? JQ combine into single object. JQ-S add. Huh. Doesn't know what I'm talking about. the end. No, failed writing body. -n. Doesn't know what I mean. Doesn't know what I mean. Combine result into single object. Map value. Map values produce a simpler, or at least shorter filter. Might be more efficient. Map outputs to map values dot value add. Or pipe add? I don't know what that means. Okay. Dash map. Outputs two entries. This is so complicated. Getting an array element. Creating an object. GQ expression. Oh, I can supply. Okay. So I can say slug dot slug, and then I can say user facing name, and then can I say bucket config dot bucket config, and then there we go. That's what I wanted. Okay. Now, do I have that property right? It was a user facing name. Facing name. There, like that. Okay. I like this. So now we can query for this stuff. We get the information that I want, which is just the name. Oh, I also want the channel. What's the channel? Channels. Channels release. Okay. That's good. So now from this we know that this is on the release channel at 50%. We can sort of set that up. And we have the slug so we can link out to the experiment. I feel really good about that. Okay, so now can we make that same query and parse out that same information using JQuery? Let's do that. So JQuery. This is it's using Emscripten to process JSON and produce other JSON to transform things. So how do I get this, and what's the license? What's the license? What are these? Are these? Yeah. Without fee hereby granted. Copyright notice permission appear in all copies. Okay, so long as I pull in the library and supply the license. Okay. So here's the release. Here's the jq.js and the WASM. And I'll want to just grab the license as well. So it's called new tab train check, I think is what I've been, train check. Vendor, I'm gonna call this JQuery. And we'll go ahead and get this. This is 061. 061. There you go. And then WASM. Wow. That's, how big is that? That's 2.8 megs. Okay. And then I want the license. Okay. And then I need to bring that stuff in. How do I use it? In the browser. There's an example with live server. Where? Node modules, live server, and then index.html. Index.html. And what it does is it loads the script, and then it does JQ, then JQ.json. Then you supply it with some stuff. You supply it with some JSON and then your expression, and then it produces the output. Okay. Okay. Let's do that then. App. Import JQ. Is it a module? I don't think it's a module, unfortunately. Lit all. Is lit all a module? Does it do export? Okay. And is this one a module? I don't think so. I think I might just have to load this like traditionally, which is a little bit of a pain. Include this module. We import and export values. Okay, so instead of importing app.mjs, I need to, inside of background, or maybe it's here in the manifest, I need to scripts vendor / jqweb / 0.6.1 / jq.js. Let's see what happens now if I reload this extension. Okay. Now if I debug this extension, it knows about lit, it doesn't know about JQ. I wonder if I have to do anything else to make that work. Manifest, background, script, vendor. JQ web 061 JQ. JS. Let us go here. Do you know what I mean by JQ? We do, but it's rejected. It's rejected. I wonder if I also need to supply the WASM as a background script. That would be strange. That'd be very strange. Reload. Oh, there you go. JQ. Rejected. Runtime error. Now, does this thing... When does it get the WASM? Find WASM binary. If F is data URI F. No, it's not a data URI. Then locate file. Module, locate file. If module, locate file. Locate file. Otherwise, script directory. Huh. What? Locate file. Let's put a breakpoint here. And then reload again. Okay. Module. Locate file. Never heard of it. Script directory. Aha. Plus path. That looks right to me. Instantiate async. Fetch the binary file. And then result equals instantiate the stream. The result is rejected. Compile error. That is a WASM file. So it's just not working when we try and instantiate the WASM. When did this build come out? So, jeez, 7 months ago? Let's try and load this using a normal web page. Let's just make sure that that works. So, JQ web test. Copy. Train check vendor JQ webs 61 JQ dot star to here. We're going to copy JQ.js and JQ.wasm here, and then let's code an index. We're going to bring in script source equals JQ.js, and then let's browse to it. JQ test. So serve, Python HTTP serve, localhost 8000. Okay, so do we have JQ? Fulfilled. So that works. So the problem isn't, so we can get the JQ thing. So the problem is not the code. The problem appears to be how we're loading the JS. Instantiate streaming from the response, same origin, binary file. Hang on. Using WASM from web extension. Execute script. Whoa. Get URL, WASM path. resources. Let's try that debugging again. Okay. Okay, network. Now, the result. We have the response. Status is okay. I'd like to know the size of the body if possible. Body, response.body, size, length. It's a readable stream. But we got a response back. Bytes. Oh, it's already been consumed. All right, try it again. I really should just put my breakpoint here, which I already have, so I can get rid of the other breakpoint. Okay. So what I want is to await the bytes. So there are some bytes there. That looks right. Instantiate streaming and then imports as an object. Read for release. What do you mean read for release? Are you seeing something? I mean the theme color. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's true. And then this failed because it can't get push data because WASM streaming compile fails. Ah! Instantiate streaming is blocked by CSP. The page's settings block WebAssembly from being executed because it violates the following directive: script source self WASM unsafe. Blocked by CSP. Okay, so that makes some sense. Web extension blocked by CSP. So we can change the CSP. Content security policy should be self and WASM unsafe eval. Okay, web extension content security policy. Okay. By unsafe eval in the script source directive. Okay. Okay. Okay, so under manifest, we have to, under content security policy, for manifest v3, which we're using, extension pages, WASM unsafe eval. Okay. Script source. Enable use of WebAssembly. Okay. Reload. Result. Pending. That's better. That's much better. So now, if we go back here, I've got my breakpoint. I go like that. Can I get JQ? Await JQ. Yes. All right. Got my thing. So that's completely non-obvious. To use web assembly in a web extension is you have to add this kind of like arcane manifest permission check. That's a bit bizarre. So Mac OS, we've got some maybe failing jobs, by the way. Let's take a quick peek what it's talking about. Oh, they're just pending. That's why. They're just pending. So that's why they're yellow. Okay, so now we've got this. Now, I actually don't know if we need to make WASM, that part, available. Let's try removing that and see what happens now. Reload. And then... sorry. There. Can I... Yeah, okay, I've got my thing. So we didn't need to make that available. Great. So I've got JQ now. And the thing I want to do is when we're getting all the information, get the push data. The summary. Along with getting the push data, we're going to get Nimbus data. Get Nimbus data. Or rather experimenter data. Or rollout. Get rollout data. That's what I'll call it. Function get rollout data. Probably be async. And then what we're going to do is we are going to make our network request. So let JQ response equal fetch, and then we're gonna make our query here to this. So let's see, const query experimenter query URL is there. We're gonna do a fetch request. If this fails, we don't want the rest of this to fail. So let's actually in the event fetch API error handling. How do you do this? If response okay, and then try and catches. Okay, so try catch if JS response okay. If not okay, return. What are we going to return? Just the empty array. Otherwise, what's this give us? It gives us a single object. I want to be able to accommodate multiple objects. End date. So what happens if I get rid of this end date as null part? What happens if there are multiple? Then we get individual objects. I'd like those to be in an array. Can I do that? Oh, that looks all wrong. What happens if I do that? That's all wrong. jQuery or JQ get back array. of objects. That's what I thought. I thought you just wrap it in square params like this. But then each result is coming back. Turning an array of objects, turning an array of arrays into objects. And then dot. Do I want this? Dot that? No. No. Do I want do I want the whole thing in square brackets? Interesting. Yes, I do. Okay, so that's the thing. I want the whole thing in square brackets. I was not expecting that, but okie dokie. Okie dokie. And if we don't get anything back, we'll return the empty array. So if we get something back, then let's await JQ. What does JQ give us? JQ web index. JQ web equals await JQ, and JQ web dot JSON result equals JQ web JSON. Then we need to give it the result object. Let's see the complete test suite, test.js. You can give it a raw string. Give it JSON. All right. So if I want to get the response body back, fetch API response body as JSON. I think I just do like await JSON. Result JSON equals JS response dot JSON. I'll call it response JSON. And then result equals response JSON, and then we're going to supply our query, which is this fun string, JQ query. Which already uses, so I'll use these. I'll do it like that. And then we supply the JQ query, and then what do you get back? You just get a result. Return result. So then we're gonna get rollout data. Rollout data is here, and then we're going to put that in the object that goes out like that. So let's see now. Let's reload. We have our inspector here. Let us also inspect the network. And here we go. Did it hit experimenter? It doesn't look like it. We might need to, oh, reload data, rollout data. Hey, it worked. There it is. How come I didn't, oh, there it is. That's why it did happen. I just didn't see it. It worked. So we have the object. That's very nice. And so now we can start piping that down and representing inside of our tool. Like, hey, there is an active rollout and this thing's at 50%. Let's see if we can do that. So our object comes back. What is the object? Get SHA dot results dot revision data. Results dot status. What is this dot results? We're going to get the object back, get revision data. Oh, it's going to be in the revision data object. Okay. So revision data. Let's put this under the jobs report. We'll go like rollouts report dot rollouts equals this dot results revision data dot rollout data. Okay, and now we need a rollouts report. And so we'll create a new script called rollouts report. We don't need any of these. We need a rollouts report. And what we'll have is rollout data. This dot rollout data equals null. And then for render, we'll just have it rollouts. We'll have it return active rollouts. And then we're just going to have it console.log this.rollouts data. Not much there. All right. Reload. Active rollouts. Undefined. Rollout data. Was it rollouts data? Just rollouts. Just rollouts. All right. All right. And now we can say on release, beta, rollouts for release. I don't know how I feel about that. section div rollouts for beta. Rollouts for channel for let rollout of this dot rollouts if rollout dot channels dot includes channel. Oh, 2 spaces, please. I don't know why that's not the default. If it includes the channel, then we're gonna return HTML this dot rollouts dot map rollout if else return null. If not, return null. Otherwise, we're gonna return HTML a ref. We'll put in the rollout slug or the rollout name, user facing name, the rollout slug, and then we're going to do a calculation at let const percentage equals rollout dot bucket config count divided by rollout.bucket config total. So elementary school math here, 5,000 divided by 10,000 times 100. Whoops, times another 10 is 50. So times 100 percentage at percentage percent. Get rid of that. All right, let's see. Does that nice. And I need to terminate that and then terminate and then a link to the experimenter page. Experimenter Nimbus page, which would be this. Const Nimbus URL. I need to put the slug here. Rollout.slug, and then have that go to the Nimbus URL. Target equals underscore blank. And that, I think, gets us what I want. Okay. And maybe put the 50% in strong. And I think I'm pretty happy with that. And if there are none, if rollouts, this dot rollouts, let's see, filter mdn array dot prototype filter. Find, search, all right, find. If find rollout, return rollout dot channels includes channel. If not, return HTML. None. Wow, did I do that wrong? Return. If this, if not, let's do this. Let matching rollouts equals this dot rollouts dot filter rollout dot channel, return rollout channels includes channel, and then if not matching rollouts dot length, otherwise we're going to go through the matching rollouts. We don't need to do this check. Okay, let's see. None. Yes. All right. I feel pretty good about that. I learned some jQuery, not jQuery. Man, I learned some JQ stuff. That's very confusing. JQ, I see JQ and immediately I think of jQuery, which probably says something about where I came from as a web developer. I'm pretty sure this URL will work. I think I need to open it in a separate window. Yep, that works. Hey, that's pretty good. I'm gonna mark that as done. If no jobs detected for any platform, have them be gray for pending. I don't really want to do that right now. This is getting useful. We're getting to the point where this is pretty useful, gang. Where I can take a look at and see how things are going. So I'm pretty happy about that. I think there's a lot of UI cleanup we can do here. Really, we just have like a stack of information. I think we could probably pretty this up a little bit. But I think it'll help once we kind of have the information in front of us, and then we can sort of like mold it to something that maybe makes more sense. But so far, slowly but surely, we're getting this to look useful. And I think I'm going to cap it there. Hey, thank you so much for watching episode 417 of The Joy of Coding. Let me know what you thought. There's a link to rate this episode here in the agenda. Let me actually just drop a link there into the chat. A good first bug to make it more pretty. Maybe. Yeah, let me put what I have up on GitHub so you can poke at it. I'm not taking pull requests just yet. I think it's still too amorphous, but like, if, you know, I say that, and yet, like, what other features do I want? I think the last feature I want is... you know what? If you feel like sending me a pull request, go for it. I'm going to post what I have here. Let me commit it. There's still a lot of cleanup to do. Let's see here. Yeah. JJ commit. A lot of changes I have not been committing a lot. Add locales and locales report, improvements, jobs report, and rollout report. And now refuse to snapshot some files. Do it. JJ squash. There you go. I need that file. Okay. Now JJ get push. No bookmarks found. Default push rev set. JJ bookmark create. Or JJ get push main. Push create new. Get push help. Allow new. No bookmarks found for the default push rev set. Remote bookmarks, remote origin. JJ bookmark R main. Bookmark remove. Bookmark move. Main to R. JJ bookmark create main R. JJ bookmark set main R. Good. Now JJ get push. Permission denied. Okay. I think it's this one. Oh boy, I'm gonna have to figure this out. Let me push that stuff up. Is it a system add-on? No. This tool is not a system add-on. It's just a normal add-on. Let me figure out how to push that up for review. I'm not super good at pushing with JJ just yet. So let me figure that out. But anyways, with that having been said, let me know what you thought of the episode. There's no episode next week. I'm traveling again, so I'll be back the week after. Have yourselves a great week, and I will hopefully see you soon. Hey, take care, everybody. Have yourselves a great week. Take care. Bye-bye.
The joy of coding.
See ya.